Hi guys, and welcome to another batch of your replays, and today we are going French heavies with two French heavy replays. First one is with cjacey in the FCM 50T. Now this replay goes all the way back to 9.3. I have so many replays, I still have some replays from 9.2, believe it or not. But I dragged this one up from 9.3 because I was looking for French heavies. And both players today, both replays are by players who have featured on the channel before, one quite recently, but it's just the look of the draw. I know I get a lot of replays sent in, and I forget who sent in replays. I just look for tanks when I'm going through my replays folder, and it just so happened that both replays today are by players who have featured quite a lot on the channel, and I do apologize if you're one of the players who have sent in a replay and I haven't got around to you yet and you haven't featured on the channel yet. I will get around to your replay eventually. But as I say, cjacey here on Westfield, or sorry, Live Oaks, and it's a 37%er. Really tough matchup, even though cjacey is top tier. A lot of very good players on the enemy team, so it's a big ask. Anyway, here we go. FCM 50T is a very good tier 8 premium tank, but really, it's a very good tier 8 premium tank for an experienced player, because it's a heavy tank that doesn't play like a heavy tank. You've really got to understand the strengths and weaknesses of both the tanks on the enemy team and your own strengths and weaknesses in the FCM 50T, which is, it's a heavy tank that plays a lot like a medium tank, but it's a big target. The armor is not very good, although it can bounce, and the turret armor is terrible. The gun is okay, in fact it's a pretty good gun, but again you've only got 212mm of penetration, so it means that you've really got to understand weak spots on enemy tanks. So all in all, I do think the FCM 50T is a good tank. It's a very good tank, but as a first tier 8 premium, I think really the tank benefits if you're an experienced player already. So we're moving in, and it looks as if cjacey's team are lemming training. As per usual, I don't actually watch these replays before recording, I just look at the end score results. So a big lemming train down the 9-0 lines. It's quite a slow start for cjacey. Hasn't managed any damage yet, and he's probably being a little bit cautious. Oh, I spoke too soon. Never mind, he's going on the attack. I was going to say he's probably being a little cautious because there are a lot of good players on the enemy team. It's just a question of where they've gone, and we know that the Carnarvon, a very good player, is down here. So cjacey's moving in. Unfortunately, a little bit of ram damage on the Bulldog. cjacey's telling the VK to go back. Yeah, VK shouldn't be down here. But wow, okay. Pops the corner, and there's that armor. Jagdpanther has no problems putting a shot in. Now these two tanks have a roughly around the same reload, and there we go. Jagdpanther gets a shot in. cjacey unfortunately hits the dirt. So someone else manages to get a shot into the Jagdpanther. cjacey finishes him off for kill number 1. So his team are being really aggressive. Wow. His team are just pushing down here. They have really gone all out here. They're surrounding the enemy tanks. Enemy team have not sent very many tanks down here at all. So cjacey puts a shot into the Carnarvon. The other two tanks are dead, but in the meantime it looks as if his team are losing the north of the map. It's only an IS-2 and an AMX M4 45, two tier 7 tanks left in the north, and already cjacey is aware of that. He's going back to defend. He's telling in chat, he's communicating with his team, he's telling everyone in chat to go back. Unfortunately, his team are not listening, and this is why it's a 37%er. Most of those tanks continuing down the K line have absolutely zero map awareness. It looks as if this Type 58 actually knows what he's doing. The Type 58 is coming back to defend as well. But I don't know what a tier 6 tank can do. cjacey's not happy with his team. I don't blame him. Map awareness is such an important part of this game, and his team are showing very little of it at the moment. The enemy team have just killed 3 friendly tanks, so the score is 5-6. Still lots and lots of good players left on the enemy team. Now, Type 58 is not known for its view range, and he's setting up here on the corner. See, cjacey does have binocs on his FCM 50T. Now, one of the things that the FCM 50T does have is very, very good view range. But even with binocs, you can see that cjacey is not actually, doesn't have enough view range to see into the cap circle. Don't know whether cjacey realizes that. He needs to move up so that the cap circle gets covered in his view range, or gets included in his view range. He doesn't have view range to the A line, doesn't have view range into the cap, and there you go. So, enemy tanks are capping, but cjacey just doesn't have the view range. He blows away some cover. Now he realizes, so he's advancing. So his team are capping, enemy team are capping. Looks like there were 2 tanks in the cap zone, and there's that view range on the FCM 50T. He spots the IS-3 and gets a really, really nice shot in. Quite lucky to pen that one on that cheek. So there's the first cap reset, and that shot may have hit the AMX, don't know. Cap didn't seem to reduce very much. May have been a bounce. But he needs to pop up, needs to let his binocs kick in so his friendlies behind him can support. There's an STA-1 that's moved back to defend as well, but 3 enemy tanks in the cap now. cjacey has lit them all up. So, dealing with a, looks to be a stock M6. Sets the M6 on fire, someone else gets the kill. Focusing on the M445 now. You see that the gun is pretty punchy, the reload is pretty good, 7.19 second reload. And that shot doesn't go in, so he needs to go for the lower glacis or hope that the IS-3 turns. The IS-3 does turn. So, nice shot, another reset. No idea how much cap reset the cjacey is responsible for, but I do know that cjacey was spotting those tanks, so he's gotten a lot of assistance damage out of that. So in the meantime, his team have done really, really badly in the south. Even though they've done a great job at defending, the score is 8-10. They're still losing, still lots of very, very good players on the enemy team. All the tanks that advanced in the south ignored CJ's advice to go back and defend. All have died with the exception of 2. So cjacey's moving back down. But it does look as if they put up one heck of a fight. In fact, they're still fighting. There goes an Indian Panzer, well played by that Bulldog. So it looks as if the enemy tanks down here are on a lot of are on very low health. Oh, full health T-150 spotted in the middle, or moving north. That must, I'm not sure who spotted him. Could have been any of the tanks here. cjacey does have shots. He was just readjusting. Okay. So he does have shots on his T-150. So the tanks in the south are going to have to wait for a little bit longer while the tanks in the middle deal with the T-150. Another shot in. It gets cjacey spotted. But there you go. At an angle, the T-150 actually bounced. His tracks absorbed the shot. And the STA-1 takes out the T-150. Ooh, full health T-34. He was full health, never mind. So now that the T-150 is down, cjacey's team are finally winning. The score is 12-10. They have turned this around, and I'd like to remind you folks it was a 37%er. A lot of good players on the enemy team. So some really, really nice aggressive pushing on the 9-0 lines, followed by some really, really nice defensive work. cjacey goes for a snapshot, and the Tiger P tracks him. STA-1 snaps up the kill again. It does get cjacey spotted. Now, for some reason, cjacey's firing HE. I don't know why. Don't know why cjacey's on HE. Only 2 tanks left, a T-34 and an AT-7. Not very good targets for HE. So he has the side of the turret and a whole 9 damage. No idea, absolutely no idea why he was firing HE. So it looks like the AT7 is around here somewhere. cjacey, yeah, is taking fire. T-34 takes out the brave Type 58 who came back to defend. cjacey moves in. T-34 is a good player. He's using the wreck of the Type 58 to cover himself. So cjacey takes a hit. Actually, again, that shot actually bounced, didn't do any damage. And the STA-1 moves in, steals the kill again. So really nice play by these two players. 5 kills for the STA-1, 2 kills for cjacey. They did a really good job. And because cjacey was taking fire, he knows that the AT-7 is on the hill. He's indicating to the STA-1 that the AT-7's up there. And I don't know, they could probably have gone in together. I don't know why cjacey has told his teammate that he's going to take the long way around. Maybe it's in case the AT-7 decided to move around towards cjacey's cap. But the STA-1 has lots of health, cjacey has lots of health, but the AT-7 is actually quite a dangerous tank, especially if he is fully upgraded. And we know he's on full health because up till then he hadn't been spotted. So moving through the swamp is not the quickest route. And cjacey's telling the STA to wait. Oh, and the STA is following his instructions. Okay, so they really want to take out this tank together. There's plenty of time, 4.5 minutes left, so they're just confirming the kill. But as you can see, the FCM 50T, it's a fast tank. It's a fast heavy tank. He's doing 50 kilometers along here, even though it's not the best ground. And there we go, AT-7 still on full health. So what they can do is they can engage him. One of them can shoot him in the side, one of them can shoot him in the rear. The AT-7 is a forward-facing TD. It can only face one of them at a time. So no matter what happens, one of them's going to have side shots. So cjacey aims carefully, gets a shot in. AT-7 goes to turn. Yeah, AT-7's turning towards cjacey. Yeah, he doesn't know where to go, so he's turning towards cjacey. STA-1 is turning, gets a shot in. AT-7 turns towards the STA-1, and cjacey gets a nice side shot. So really nice teamwork from these two guys. I don't think they're platooned. No, they're not platooned. So cjacey continuing to work. Really nice teamwork. Really nice to see. And between the two of them, they take out the AT-7. So that was an ace tanker for cjacey in the FCM 50T. He also picked up a Defender medal. Really nice match in a 37%er against a lot of very good players. Really well played to these guys, and even the Type 58 had a good game. He came back and defended as well. So I think pretty much these three players carried the game for their team. cjacey finished up with 1474 XP, did 3,600 damage and just the 2 kills. The STA-1 had an amazing game as well, 4,000 damage and 6 kills, but he was doing that damage because of cjacey's spotting. And cjacey did indeed pick up 2,685 assistance damage. So the FCM 50T, one of its greatest strengths is its view range, and cjacey used it in that particular game. He fired 26, hit 21, and penned 20. The gun is pretty good. You do need to understand weak spots when you come up against some tier 9 heavies, but cjacey really didn't need to come up. It was a tier 8 game, really didn't need to hit very many weak spots in that game. As I say, really nice amount of damage. The FCM 50T is a heavy tank, but it doesn't have a lot of armor. But he was hit four penetrations, but as you saw, his tracks actually 8 damage twice. He blocked 700 damage with his armor. He spotted 1, damaged 9, destroyed 2, and as I say, large amount of assistance damage with 79 base defense points. He earned, because he wasn't firing a lot of premium, 93,500 credits with a premium account. The FCM 50T is a money earner. It can do damage. It's a really solid tank, but as I say, I think to get the most out of the FCM 50T. It really helps if you're experienced at the game. 2,211 XP on a ×2 with some sort of bonus thrown in. Left cjacey on a really nice 5,748 XP. So that's the first of 2 replays, and sorry it took me so long to get around to it, cjacey. That one came all the way back from 9.3. Moving on, we've got Bringi in the AMX M445. Now, I know Brinje featured on the channel quite a lot recently, and I had no idea this was one of his replays when I pulled it out of the replay folder, but it just happens that way, folks. It's not planned, and I was looking for another French heavy, and I pulled out this AMX M445 game because it looks like an amazing game. It's here on Malinovka, and Brinje is a tier 7 in a tier 8 game. I don't have win chances enabled in 9.5. This is a 9.5 replay. Let's just get going. Now, I quite liked the AMX M445. It's not a tank I decided to keep because it's not particularly fast, it's not particularly maneuverable, the armor is okay, but it's not particularly good. And I was using the final gun on the tank, and that doesn't look like the final gun. So the final gun basically is the same gun as the FCM 50T gets, and Brinje is using the 105. Okay, so this is the same gun that Brinje used on the RL44. It's a 105mm gun. It's got 165mm of penetration and 300 alpha damage, which is okay, but the premium ammo is very good on the 105mm. You actually get more alpha damage. You get 330 alpha damage with premium ammo, and you get a far better penetration, 223. So if you're struggling with the mid-tier Russian heavy tanks, I probably would advise using the 105. I didn't use them, but I know that Brinje has, and they are very good guns if you're willing to fire premium. If you're not going to fire premium in the mid-tier French tanks, then possibly go for the final guns, where you don't need to fire as much premium. But it looks as if, again, this is a game, I've just looked at the end score, haven't seen the game. It looks as if Brinje is moving up the 0 line along with a T-34 and a T-43. Not a lot of support here. Most of his team are camping spawn. Not a good start to the game. And Brinje recognizes in chat, he's telling the team, yeah, not a lot you can do here. So if the enemy team have advanced up the hill in strength, I don't know if a T-34 and a tier 7 AMX and a medium tank are going to be able to do a heck of a lot here. So, dunno. They're advancing, they're still advancing, but it all depends on what the enemy team have sent up the hill. So, I think Brinje is being rather indecisive here. I don't blame him. Now, someone has spotted the T-34. There are shots coming in on the T-34. So, they're being spotted. Brinje decides to fall back. And it doesn't look as if that T-43 is going to be a lot of help either. So the T-34 is deciding to advance alone. Nope, he's reversing down the hill. Okay, first tank spotted, Tiger 1 on the hill. Now Brinje has 15 premium rounds loaded because the penetration is very good and the alpha damage is better than it is with the standard AP. You can see that big hit, 356 damage on the Tiger. Now, this is something I've been noticing in a lot of the replays Brinje's been sending me. He's actually been firing quite a lot of premium. He's not spamming it, but what he does is he basically has about a quarter to a third of his loadout in premium ammo. And he expends all his premium ammo at the start of games, and then moves on to the regular AP later on. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking maybe the reasoning, I need to talk to Brinje about it, but maybe the reasoning behind this is you've got a lot of targets. It's very important to do damage early on. Tiger 1 has hit Brinje again. Tiger 1 is firing premium ammo as well. But it's very important to do a lot of damage early on. And maybe it's better off using the premium ammo when there are a lot of targets, when there are a lot of opportunities to do damage on full health tanks. And get your damage in early, because, I don't know, if I die in a game and I've got lots of ammo left in my gun, and maybe I've given up the opportunity to do damage that I might have been able to do at the beginning of a game. But, wow, okay, so 3 enemy tanks dead. And Bringi is on 2.5k damage, just the 1 kill. He's congratulating the T-34. T-34 is saying good job to the AMX. These 2 guys, even though they were pretty much the only ones here, they've held the hill. So, one thing the AMX M4 does have is a fairly decent gun depression. So there's a T-44 in the dip just to Bringi's left. Bringi's saying look out for the AMX AC. I don't know, I haven't seen the AMX AC. Has anyone... He hasn't been hit by the AMX AC. Maybe it's because the... No, there are lots of tanks who haven't been spotted yet. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Again, nice pop-up. Uses his gun depression. Gets a nice shot into the side of the T-44. And another big hit in. So Bringi's up to 3.2k damage. Lots of chat going on, but I'm actually not sure. I'm lost here, guys. As I say, it's the first time I'm watching this replay. I have no idea what these guys are talking about. So most of Bringi's team decided to camp spawn. They're still in spawn. But they've done a really, really good job. They're dominating this game. Its score is 9-5. Only 6 tanks left on the enemy team. And another T-44 has managed to get down towards spawn. Don't know, Bringi's maybe, again, a little bit of indecision. Was thinking about going back to kill the T-44, but his team handled it. So yeah, I think watching this replay, I'm probably, maybe I regret a little bit not using the 105 on the RL-44 and the AMX. Maybe I made things more difficult for myself, because it is a very good gun if you're willing to fire some premium. Now, it's questionable whether or not he needed premium against a lot of the targets he was shooting at, but certainly doesn't need it against an AMX, but you can't disagree with the higher alpha damage. That was a really low roll. So this AMX seems to be AFK, seems to have given up. Bringi goes for a track shot. He's got the side of this AMX, so in my mind that's 3 premium shells wasted. Could have used standard AP, but I don't have as good stats as Bringi does, so what do I know? So really, really nice performance from the AMX so far. Bringi's on 4k damage, 2 kills. 4 tanks left on the enemy team. And it looks as if the enemy team, or at least one of them, T-34, is advancing. Really, as I say, the DPM and the alpha damage of the 105 is really, really surprising me. I think I may end up rebuying this tank and using the 105 on it after watching this replay so far. Score is 11-7. It's a complete and utter domination, a whitewash. So Bringi's going to be using his gun depression. Doesn't seem to be using binocs on this tank. He might be using coated optics, not sure. Side of 30. And again, really, really nice alpha damage. A little bit unfortunate. I think that may have hit the wreck. But that was his last premium shell. He's on standard AP. And something has just spotted him. Don't know what that could have been. And enemy RT is still in play. So again, going to move up here. Don't know what the view range is on the AMX either. I did play this tank quite recently, but I don't remember it that well. I think I ground through the AMX M4 reasonably quickly. It only took about 3 or 4 play sessions. Okay, moving up. His team are advancing. Enemy T-34's moved around. I probably would have been a little bit more aggressive here, but okay, T-25. And unfortunately misses. That looked like a definite kill, but gets a second opportunity. Oh, and this gun is starting to let him down. It was performing so well in the first part of the game. 8.10 second reload. He's got a third opportunity on this T-25. And a third shot goes really, really high. So someone takes out the 30. So the only tank that hasn't been spotted yet is enemy RT. And that T-34, enemy T-34 has gone down. He's wiped out most of the defenders. Bringi is saying we need to kill them and gang up on the T-34. So Bringi is finally making a move. He's going forward. 4 minutes left of this game. So you gotta remember, the AMX M4 was a tier 7 in a tier 8 game, so really, really nice performance. Bringi's on 4.2k damage. So there goes the T-25-2, just 2 tanks left. And as you can see, the tank is not particularly fast, it's not particularly mobile, but it's okay, it's not painfully slow. So someone needs to spot this T-34. It looks as if it's going to have to be Bringi. The rest of his team are advancing very, very cautiously. And now the cap has started. 3 minutes left, as someone pointed out in chat. So Bringi's moving forward. He's got the cap circle in view range. He just needs to clear these bushes. And someone has spotted the T-34. So... oh, it's not the T-34 that's capping, it's RT. So Bringi has spotted RT. RT misses. Bringi gets the kill. There's kill number 3. And just the T-34 left. And Bringi really, really needs to hit the lower glacis with 167mm of pen. And he does. It was 167, wasn't it? On this gun. 165. So Bringi gets one shot in, fires a shot blind. That blind shot may have gone in as well. So Bringi's on 4,833 damage that we know of. Needs to get one more shot in to hit 5k damage. Come on, Bringi. Yeah, so you don't see a lot of AMX M4 action on people's channels. It's not exactly an exciting tank, but it's very, very solid. It basically does what it does a good job at what it does. It's more of a support tank unless you're top tier. So Bringi finishes off the T-34 for 4 kills and just short of 5k damage. So that was Brinji's ace tanker in the AMX M445. I think I've only featured the tank on my channel once before, and that was my ace tanker. But I was using the final gun, I wasn't using the 105, and I think maybe I'm going to have to rebuy this tank just to use that 105 because the DPM looks insane and the alpha damage looks fantastic. Brinji also picked up a high caliber and a sniper medal. He finished up with a huge 1627 XP. He did almost 6,000 damage, so at least 2 of his blind shots went in and 4 kills. Really, really big game. He fired 23, hit 20, and penned 20. Yeah, definitely I'm going to have to rebuy this tank at some stage and use the 105. It's really, really worth using as far as I can see from this game. Huge amount of damage. 2 spotted, 9 damage, 4 destroyed, 457 assistance damage, 19 base defense points, and even though he did fire through his premium ammo at the start of the game, and you could argue against targets he didn't need it against, but he still made a profit of 11,000 credits with a premium account, so it might actually be worth trying out the 105. 2,400 XP on a ×5 event left him on a humongous 12,200 XP for that game. That game was almost enough to unlock the tier 8 tank. Huge game, and I want to thank Brinji for sending it in. He told me about this game, but first time I'm actually getting around to seeing it, and I didn't know it was Brinji's replay till I dragged it up. So thank you guys today. Thanks to cjacey and thanks to Brinji for sending those replays in. Hope you guys at home enjoyed watching them, and I'll see you next time.